Hey friends, well, another day up in the North Georgia hills, which means another day I went exploring. I went exploring around Alec Mountain. Have you ever heard of it? Yeah. I'd heard that there was a stone ring there, and so I just wanted to go see for myself. And I took some pictures, which I will show later. What I'm trying to do is this whole relationship where I live part-time here in the North Georgia hills in Appalachia, and then part-time in the low country in South Carolina. And I just love that I have like the lows and the highs, and I'm trying to kind of put them together somehow, like so how they relate to each other from our elders, from our ancestors, and the things that are within the ground, within the earth, that have been in both places and in between way longer than any of us, right? So in thinking of that, I was thinking about the circular stone wall up here, things made of granite up here. And then down in the low country, the shells. All right, so I wrote a little something today about, I'm also studying like where I look at a flower. I wish I had one to show. Or I've got a tomato right here. Of course I do. I went to the Osage market yesterday. So even in a tomato, the round tomato and its stripes that form a sacred geometry. So I'm thinking about those kind of things too. And just how our ancestors used that geometry, that astronomy, the stars, things on the earth that all are connected, that we live by and always have. All right, so I wrote this today. I'm calling it the geometry of home because both of these places are my home. All right. On Alec Mountain, the ridgeline holds a heavy crown where dark river stones were hauled and laid precisely down. An oval ring of granite, thick as a hunter's stride, with a cross of ancient trenches carved deep into its side. And that cross that is there, like in the earth, within this oval stone structure, shows, I believe, that these ancestors were using it as a astronomy grid of some sort. The settlers called it fortress, but the elders always knew it was a wheel to catch the seasons as the mountain breezes blew. For 100 miles to the east, where the salt and seagrass meet, the low country is singing under different ancient feet. No mountain stone to gather, so they built with what they found, the white and chalky oyster shells piled high above the ground, a giant ring of silver wide around a central floor where fires burned and music rose against the ocean's roar. What's really cool about this part is, like, I've been telling people that I believe my front yard in the low country in Port Royal is a shell ring. So I do. We keep finding like whole whelk shells and oyster shells everywhere, but now I'm finding like the whole whelk shells just barely beneath the surface of the topsoil. So pretty cool. The Cherokee came later through the gaps of green and blue and walked the ridges softly where the older shadow grew. They knew the earth was sacred, that the circles never end. From the mountain's rocky shoulder to the coast's Atlantic bend. For whether shaped of granite or the shell beside the sea, a circle is a prayer made to hold community. So I think of like, where the circle be unbroken, oh, by and by, Lord, by and by, I just really think that song kind of came to mind when I was putting this together. They knew the earth was sacred, that the circles never end. From the mountain's rocky shoulder to the coast Atlantic bend. For whether shaped of granite or the shell beside the sea, a circle is a prayer to hold community. What do you think? So that's my poem. And then now I'm working to put like a poem and then a children's story, like a story for a children's book, that the poem comes first and then a children's book, or maybe like a children's book story and then the poem maybe on the back cover. I don't know. I'm just playing with this idea. I gotta go eat. I'm looking at the menu right now. I'm gonna go eat something at the Vandiver. And that's another story I could tell. I'll get my kids on that one. When they went to camp, Athens Y Camp in Camp Chattooga up here at Tallulah Falls, there was a story about the Vandiver man. I'll have to ask them about it. I'll come back later with that story. Bye, y'all.